close your eyes and imagine you're gently floating above the Earth. The air is quiet here, in the space just beyond our blue sky. The world you know lies below oceans glimmering, clouds drifting slowly. Above you, the gray darkness of the universe stretches out, wide and unending. We are about to take a journey, not in a rush, not in haste, but in stillness. A slow journey from the center of our solar system, outward into the distance where sunlight fades into silence. As we travel, you will hear the stories of planets, moons, and drifting rocks. You will hear of storms that last for centuries, and of frozen worlds that may never see the warmth of day. And yet, all of it is bound together, like a family, circling one star. That star is where our journey begins. Chapter 1. The Sun. At the very heart of our solar system rests the Sunday. It is not a flame, though it glows with light. It is not solid, though it holds more mass than all the planets combined. It is a star, immense beyond imagination, and yet, to us, it feels like a familiar companion. If you could place over 1 million Earths side by side, they would fit inside the Sun's vast sphere. Its surface burns at thousands of degrees, and deep inside, nuclear reactions fuse hydrogen into helium, releasing energy that will shine for billions of years. But we do not need to rush into numbers. Let us think of the Sun more gently. Each morning, it rises slowly above the horizon, painting skies in pink and gold. Each evening, it sinks away, leaving room for the calm of night. Its rhythm has been steady since long before humans walked the Earth, and it will remain steady long after we are gone. The Sun is more than a giver of light. It is the heart of our solar system. Its gravity holds the planets in their orbits. Without it, Earth would be a frozen wanderer, drifting in the dark. Every breath you take, every leaf of every tree, every ripple of every wave, owes its existence to the warmth of this star. On its surface, dark spots sometimes appear. These are sunspots, cooler regions that come and go in cycles, like the slow breathing of a giant. Loops of fire, called prominences, can arc across its face, taller than many Earths stacked together. Storms of charged particles can sweep outward, reaching even our small blue world, painting the skies with northern lights. And yet, from far away, the Sun appears calm, just a golden disk, steady and unmoving. We sit at the perfect distance, not too close to be burned, not too far to freeze. This gentle balance has allowed life to flourish here, in all its shapes and colors. If you close your eyes and picture the Sun, imagine it not as a ball of fire, but as a great glowing lantern, resting at the center of a vast dark room. Around it, like children around a storyteller, the planets gather in circles. Mercury, closest, then Venus, then Earth, and beyond. Each waits its turn to be noticed. The Sun does not hurry. It will burn for another 5 billion years. For now, it simply shines, patient and enduring, lighting the way for our slow journey outward. Next, we'll drift closer to Mercury, the tiny world nearest to the Sunday. Chapter 2. Mercury. From the great glowing lantern of the Sun, we drift outward, closer to the first planet in its family. Tiny, quiet, and often overlooked, this is Mercury. Mercury is the smallest planet in our solar system, no bigger than Earth's moon. And yet, it is a world of extremes. By day, its surface is scorched, reaching temperatures hotter than an oven. By night, when the sun slips away, the heat vanishes and the ground freezes in silence. There is almost no air to hold warmth, no blanket of atmosphere to soften the change. Mercury lives in sharp contrasts, light and dark, hot and cold, day and night. Its face is scarred with craters, the marks of ancient collisions with space rocks. To look at Mercury is to see a record of violence, but also of time itself. Many of those craters are billions of years old, unchanged for eons. The planet has no thick winds or seas to erase them. Instead, they remain, like wrinkles on an ancient face. Because Mercury is so close to the Sun, it moves quickly. It races around its orbit in only 88 days. A year on Mercury, by our measure, is shorter than a season on Earth. Its name fits well. Mercury was the messenger of the gods, swift and restless. Yet on its surface, time feels strange. A single day from sunrise to sunrise lasts nearly 59 Earth days. Imagine the sun rising so slowly, climbing across the sky, and then setting after weeks of watching. Mercury has no moons, no companions to share its journey. It circles the sun alone, locked in its dance of heat and shadow. Sometimes, from Earth, we can see it shining just before dawn or after sunset, a tiny spark close to the horizon. For ancient observers, it was a fleeting visitor, appearing only briefly, then vanishing again into the sun's glare. Though small and silent, Mercury carries a kind of dignity. It has endured for billions of years, surviving near the furnace of our star. It does not boast rings, or clouds, or color. Instead, it keeps its quiet company with the sun, orbit after orbit, in patient repetition. If you listen closely, you might imagine the sound of Mercury is not noise, but stillness, a gentle pause, before the grander planets appear. It is the first step outward on our long, slow path, a modest beginning, but a vital one. From Mercury, our eyes turn to a brighter, more mysterious neighbor, a world wrapped in clouds, glowing softly in the evening sky. Venus awaits. Chapter 3. Venus. We leave the quicksilver hush of Mercury and drift toward a lantern in the twilight. When evening comes on Earth, and the sky keeps a little of its blue, you can sometimes see her bright, steady, and close to the horizon. Sailors once watched for that light. Poets named it the evening star. In the mornings it returns again, a soft pearl above dawn. The same world, wearing two names, stepping in and out of our sky with a graceful rhythm. This is Venus. From space, Venus looks serene, creamy white, softly glowing, wrapped in cloud from pole to pole. There are no breaks in the cover, no glimpses of ground. It is like a lamp wrapped in silk. The light is diffused, even gentle. You might imagine the air below is quiet too, filled with warm mist and easy rains. But Venus is a reminder that beauty and gentleness do not always travel together. Beneath those clouds is a different story, one we will tell slowly, with care. Let's linger first in the upper air, where the planet is kindest. We float beside banks of pale cloud that drift around the globe in a continuous river. High above the surface, winds run like a tide, encircling the planet in just a few days. If you listen for them, their sound is no more than a whisper through gauze, constant, even unhurried. The droplets here are not water, but something stranger, tiny beads that reflect sunlight and give the world its milky sheen. From this height, the land below is an idea more than a place, hidden as if in a dream. Time moves differently on Venus. The planet turns backward, slowly, as though it prefers to face the sun and think before it answers. A single spin takes longer than a year. If you stood on the surface and waited for the sun to cross the sky, you would wait and wait. The day the sky delivers will be long and unfamiliar. But we will not rush the clock. We are only passing, uncoiling the hours like a ribbon as we drift. We descend, gently, through layers of air. The The light grows amber, the clouds thicken. The pressure of the atmosphere presses in, steady and weighty, like seawater at depth. You can imagine rains that begin to fall and never reach the ground, droplets warmed and lifted back into vapor before they touch the rocks. It is a world where the horizon might waver, where the distance seems to lean and breathe. The air is dense enough that a feather might fall like a leaf, spiraling slowly, reluctant to land. Touching the surface in our thoughts, we find no oceans, no meadows, no rivers running to the sea. Instead, there are vast plains of ancient rock, folded and cracked, a mosaic of lava fields and softened mountains. Here and there, a shield volcano rises like a sleeping whale, broad-backed and patient. There are highlands too old to terrains that look in radar images like braided fabric or woven mat, pressed and buckled over ages. If the light could reach them unfiltered, they might be the color of sun-baked clay. But the light that arrives is thick and warm, the sort that turns edges round and makes distance hazy. Venus does not wear rings. It has no moon. It keeps its own counsel. Yet, it has always had our attention. For early watchers on Earth, it must have seemed like a companion who knew both morning and evening secrets, first to arrive, last to leave, shining with a loyalty that felt personal. Long before telescopes, people told stories of this bright wanderer. Inanna, Ishtar, a goddess of love and dawn, of war and dusk. How human it is to braid a skylight into our own lives, to say, this bright thing knows something about us. We listen for weather and hear something different from storms we know. The clouds far above sweep around the planet like a great slow river of air, but at the ground, the winds are softer, thick air flowing around rock, like syrup around a pebble. The heat doesn't come and go with the hours. It simply is, held tight by a blanket that never lifts. If Earth's atmosphere is a quilt you can fold back for night, Venus's is a layered mantle you cannot set aside. It keeps its warmth the way a kiln keeps its glow. And yet, even in such intensity, Venus feels unhurried. It has taken the long way through time. The plains speak of ancient flows that spread and cooled, not in minutes, but in eras. The mountains rose and settled without a splash of rain to shape them. Craters keep their sharp rims because there are no autumns to soften them, no springs to wash them down. The planet is an archive, without pages turning a library of stone, sealed and quiet. Above, the planet's brightness that so beguiles us comes from the way those upper clouds catch sunlight and return it, like a chorus answering a note. This is why Venus is so clear in evening and morning skies. It wears a mirror. When you see it from your window, you are not seeing the surface at all, but the song of its sky, sunlight, held and released, held and released in a steady, shining breath. Let's pause here and imagine standing not in the heat, not in the pressure, but in a place that exists only in our minds. A safe balcony at the cloud tops, where the winds are quick but kind. The horizon curves, and the world below is a muted gold. You can look outward and see the sun is a bright coin, and beyond that the faint blue dot of Earth, almost shy in the distance. Between those two lights, everything we know is stretched like a thread. On that thread hang the small beads of our days, coffee cups, street corners, names we love. Venus shows them to us by contrast, by holding up a different life and saying, quietly, look how particular your home is. Look how rare. We lift again, letting the thick air fall away. The bright shell closes beneath us. The planet becomes once more a soft lantern, a pearl set in velvet. As we drift outward, the old names follow us. Evening star, morning star, two masks for the same face. They are reminders that perspective matters. A single world can mean more than one thing, depending on where we stand and when we look. In that way, Venus is a teacher. It invites patience. It invites a second glance. Before we go, take one more slow look at the bright curve of cloud. Somewhere below are mountains with lovely names, a highland of woven ridges like a basket, plains wide as countries, and volcanoes that may be sleeping or only whispering. We do not need to know everything now. Some places are meant to be understood gradually, like a melody you hum before you know the words. Let the mystery be part of the calm. Now the light of Venus recedes behind us, and the space ahead opens like a door into cool air. We are traveling home, to the one world we already understand in our bones, even when we don't know all the reasons for it. The blue planet waits, turning with oceans and cloud and familiar weather. We will arrive there next, and we will go slowly. We move away from the veiled beauty of Venus and approach a world that feels immediately different. It glows with color blue seas, green lands, white cloud spirals stretched across its face. It is our home. It is Earth. From space, Earth is alive. Where Mercury is quiet stone and Venus is wrapped in cloud, Earth is change itself. Clouds are born and dissolve in hours. Waves roll endlessly against the edges of continents. Winds gather and scatter in great arcs across oceans. From a distance, it looks like a breathing world, exhaling mist, inhaling sunlight. The most striking thing, always, is the water. Oceans cover more than 2/3 of Earth's surface, and they shine like polished glass when sunlight strikes them. Rivers and lakes scatter across the continents, like threads of silver and pools of jade. Water moves endlessly here, rising as vapor, falling as rain, returning as rivers, slipping again into the sea. This cycle is Earth's quiet heartbeat, keeping life refreshed. From above, land appears in many colors. Brown deserts stretch like seas of sand. Forests gather in deep green clusters, soft as moss. Snow and ice gleam white at the poles, shining against the darker seas. Every shade blends into another, so that no edge feels harsh. Earth's surface is not still either. Mountains rise slowly, valleys deepen, continents drift in slow motion across the planet's skin. What we think of as solid is, on Earth's timescale, always in motion. Encircling this globe is a delicate blanket, the atmosphere, thin and transparent. It glows faintly blue when seen against the black of space. It is a fragile skin, and yet it makes all the difference. Within this narrow shell, clouds form, winds flow, and air carries breath. It scatters sunlight so that our days are bright. It shields us from harmful rays. Without this thin veil, Earth would be bare and harsh, a quiet rock like its neighbors. With it, the world is gentle enough for rivers, trees, and voices. The moon, our companion, circles Earth steadily. Its pole draws the oceans back and forth, shaping tides that have rocked on for billions of years. Each night, its face changes crescent, half, full, a rhythm that people have followed since before history. Together, Earth and the moon form a pair, bound by gravity, locked in an endless dance. Earth is also alive in a deeper sense. Life spreads across it in forests, in oceans, in deserts, even in the frozen edges. Millions of forms, from the smallest microbe to the tallest tree, share this home. All of them, in their own ways, are made from the same stardust as planets and moons. And yet, here, the dust has learned to grow, to breathe, to notice itself. It is a quiet wonder. Out of all the known worlds, this is the one that has learned to dream. If you imagine standing on Earth's surface, the perspective is different. You hear the rush of a river, the whisper of wind through grass, the rhythm of waves on sand. The ground beneath your feet is firm, but alive, with unseen motion. Above, the sky stretches in endless shades, changing with the hours. Pale blue at dawn, golden at evening, dark and speckled at night. Earth is not just a planet. For us, it is every sound, every scent, every memory we carry. From space, however, Earth is small. A sphere no larger than a marble held at arm's length, a dot among stars. This view reminds us we are part of something vast, but we also carry something rare. In all the distance we have traveled so far from the Sun, past Mercury and Venus, only here have we seen oceans and forests, clouds and creatures. Only here have we found a home. The Earth turns steadily every 24 hours, showing the Sun all its sides. It circles the Sun once each year, tilting slightly, giving us seasons: winter's quiet, spring's renewal, summer's fullness, autumn's soft decay. This rhythm has marked the lives of every generation before us. It is the pulse of the planet, steady as breathing. Let us linger a moment longer. Floating above the clouds, the land below glows with sunrise. Mountains cast shadows that stretch across valleys. Rivers catch the light like threads of silver. Cities sparkle faintly, small clusters of fireflies on the dark side of the world. From here, there are no borders, no lines dividing one place from another. Only patterns of cloud, ocean, and land woven together into a single whole. When you think of Earth, think of it this way: not just as the ground beneath your feet, but as a vessel in the darkness, carrying forests, oceans, and people through the wide, quiet sea of space. It is our ship, our shelter, our story. But even this familiar world is only one stop on our journey. We drift outward again, leaving behind the blue seas and green forests, and turn toward Earth's companion, the moon. Silent, gray, and timeless, it has watched over us since the beginning. Chapter 5. The Moon. From the curve of Earth, we drift slowly toward its quiet partner, the Moon. It has been with us since the very beginning, circling steadily, keeping watch through every age. If Earth is the dancer, the Moon is the faithful partner, moving in step, always near, never leaving the stage. From space, the Moon looks pale and calm, a globe of silver and gray. Its surface is marked with shadows and scars, great dark plains called Maria, and bright highlands dotted with craters. To the naked eye, these shapes form patterns that people have imagined into stories. A rabbit, a face, a woman carrying a child. The Moon invites imagination. It is a canvas on which every culture has painted myths. The Moon is smaller than Earth, and its pull is gentler, but still strong enough to move oceans. Twice a day, tides rise and fall because of this companion's steady hand. Fishermen, sailors, and wanderers have long measured their lives against the rhythm of the Moon. Even now, its phases guide us new, crescent, half, full, a cycle repeating every 29 days. A soft clock in the sky, ticking without sound. Unlike Earth, the Moon has no air, no seas, no forests. Its silence is absolute. If you stood on its surface, the only sound would be your own breath inside a helmet. The sky above would always be black, even in noon, because there is no atmosphere to scatter the sunlight into blue. The ground beneath your feet would be dust and stone, cold and ancient, unchanged for billions of years. Yet, this silence has a kind of comfort. On Earth, life is full of noise. Winds, rivers, voices, cities. On the moon, time itself seems to slow. Each shadow lingers. Each sunrise and sunset stretches across hours. A single day lasts 2 weeks, and a night the same. The slowness is immense, but steady, as though the moon has all the time in the universe. The moon always shows us the same face. Its rotation and orbit are locked together, a condition called tidal locking. It spins as it circles, so that one side is forever turned toward Earth, and the other remains hidden. For thousands of years, people looked up and saw only the familiar side. They spoke of the dark side of the moon. Though it is not always dark, it simply looks away from us. Only when spacecraft circled behind it did we see its far side. A rougher, more cratered surface, new to human eyes. The moon has been a source of wonder and guidance. Ancient calendars were built around its cycle. Festivals and rituals marked its phases. Lovers walked under its glow. Poets wrote to it. Children wished upon it. It has been a lantern in the night, a reminder that even in darkness, light lingers. In modern times, the moon has become more than a symbol. Humans have walked upon its surface. They left footprints in the dust, flags in the silence, instruments that still rest there today. For a brief moment in history, the gap between Earth and moon was crossed not just by light, but by footsteps. And yet, the moon remains as it was, calm, unchanging, watching over us. From Earth, the moon seems close. You can cover it with your thumb held at arm's length. And yet, the distance is vast, almost 400,000 kilometers of space. If Earth were the size of a basketball, the moon would be a tennis ball floating several meters away. The space between is wide and empty. But the bond is strong, held by gravity, by history, by time itself. Let us imagine floating above the moon now, looking down. The ground below is gray, shadowed, pitted with craters, but the horizon is unlike any other. Rising above it, glowing blue and white, is Earth. To see our home from here is to feel perspective. The oceans, the forests, the cities, all of them are wrapped into one fragile sphere, hanging in darkness. Astronauts who saw this view spoke of awe, of a sudden understanding that Earth is one, whole and delicate. The moon is, in many ways, a mirror. It reflects the sun's light, yes, but also our own thoughts, our own hopes. When we look at it, we see not only a world of stone, but something of ourselves, our cycles, our dreams, our longings. As we drift away, the moon grows smaller, slipping back into its orbit around Earth, continuing its endless circling. We leave behind its calm silence and turn our eyes farther outward. Ahead lies a planet red and dry, a world of dust storms and ancient valleys. Mars awaits, waiting with its quiet deserts and its hints of a watery past. Beyond Earth's orbit, past the calm pole of our moon, lies a world that has always stirred human imagination. It is small compared to Earth, yet bright enough to catch the eye, glowing red in the night sky. This is Mars. Mars is often called the red planet. Its color comes from iron in its soil, rusted by ancient chemistry. From afar, it glows like a coal ember, a soft fire drifting among the stars. That glow has led people to give it fierce names, a planet of war, of passion, of restless energy. Yet when you arrive, Mars feels less like war and more like silence. It is a world of deserts, valleys, and endless sky, waiting patiently under a thin, cold atmosphere. The land of Mars is vast and dry. Stretching across its face are plains dusted in red, cliffs taller than any on Earth, and valleys so deep they could swallow whole mountain ranges. One of them, Valles Marineris, runs longer than the distance across our United States. It is a scar of time, carved by ancient forces, and it lies quiet now, under the thin air. Mars has mountains too, and one in particular stands apart: Olympus Mons. It is the tallest volcano in the solar system, rising nearly 3 times the height of Mount Everest. Imagine standing at its base. The horizon curves away before the summit even comes into view. And yet, no fire burns here now. The volcano sleeps, its vast slopes silent under drifting dust. Though Mars is dry today, signs of water remain. River channels cut across the surface, their paths winding like memories of streams long gone. Minerals in the rocks hint at lakes that once existed, perhaps seas that once shimmered beneath a warmer sky. Even now, frozen water hides beneath the ground, locked in polar ice caps that grow and shrink with the seasons. Mars feels like a planet that remembers rivers even if it no longer carries them. The air of Mars is thin, less than 1% of Earth's size. To walk here unprotected would be to breathe almost nothing. The sky, when seen from the surface, is a soft butterscotch color, painted by dust. Sometimes, storms sweep across the planet, not storms of rain, but of sand and wind. These storms can grow so large they cover the entire world, a veil of red dust moving with patience across plains and mountains alike. Despite its silence, Mars is not alone. 2 small moons orbit it, Phobos and Deimos. They are irregular, potato-shaped rocks captured long ago. Phobos, the larger, orbits so close it seems to hurry across the Martian sky, rising and setting within hours. Deimos is slower, more distant, a faint companion drifting steadily. These moons are modest, but they add a kind of intimacy to the planet, as if even this lonely desert world has small friends circling nearby. For us on Earth, Mars has always been a mirror of hope. We wonder, could it have once carried life? Could it carry it still, hidden beneath its surface, in the frost of its soil, in briny streaks on slopes where ice melts briefly? Even if no life has ever stirred here, Mars reminds us of possibility. It is the world most like our own, though harsher, quieter, older. Imagine standing on the surface at dusk. The sky fades into shades of orange and violet. The sun is small, more distant than you are used to, a pale disk rather than a fierce flame. Shadows stretch long across the dust, and then, above the horizon, 2 tiny moons drift. One moves quickly, racing across the sky. The other lingers, faint and steady. Above them all, far in the distance, Earth appears as a bright star. From Mars, we are only a dot fragile, far away, yet still visible. Mars turns once every 24 hours, almost the same as Earth. Its seasons come and go with its tilted axis. If you lived here, you would still know day and night, winter and summer, though colder, lonelier, more subdued. It feels familiar, but filtered, as though Earth's rhythm has been slowed and quieted. We drift upward again, leaving Mars behind. Below us, the deserts stretch like an endless painting, a world of silence and memory. Ahead lies a belt of rocks, millions of fragments circling the sun, remnants of what might have been another planet. They form no wall, but a wide, quiet band, scattered through space. This is the Asteroid Belt, and it is where we travel next. Chapter 7: The Asteroid Belt. Beyond Mars lies a wide, invisible boundary. Here begins a region not of planets, but of fragments, countless pieces of rock circling the sun in a vast band. This is the Asteroid Belt. It is not a solid wall, nor a crowded field where ships must weave and dodge as old stories sometimes imagined. In truth, the asteroids are spread across millions of kilometers. Most of space here is still empty, vast, and silent. Yet scattered through that emptiness are worlds of stone, small and patient, each following its path as faithfully as a planet. Some are no bigger than pebbles, others stretch for hundreds of kilometers. Together, they tell a story of beginnings. Long ago, when the solar system was young, this region might have formed into a planet. But Jupiter's great gravity, restless and strong, tugged at the pieces, preventing them from coming together. Instead, they remained as they were fragments of possibility, drifting for billions of years. Among these fragments are a few names we know. Ceres, the largest, is round like a small planet, nearly 1,000 kilometers across. Its surface hides ice beneath dusty rock, and perhaps once it carried a hidden ocean. Vesta, another giant among the asteroids, shows bright patches and deep scars, reminders of collisions with other wanderers. These bodies are relics, holding clues to the early days when planets were still forming, when dust and stone were gathering under gravity's hand. Most of the asteroids are irregular, their shapes twisted and rough. Imagine them as mountains adrift in space, turning slowly as they orbit. Some carry moons of their own tiny companions, smaller still, circling rocks that themselves circle the Sunday. A quiet echo of the grander dance we see among planets and stars. Though small, the asteroids are not meaningless. They are timekeepers, carrying within them materials older than Earth itself. Scientists call them fossils of the solar system, unchanged remnants of the cloud of dust and gas that gave birth to the sun and planets. Each one is a fragment of memory, drifting endlessly, patient and silent. From a distance, the asteroid belt glows faintly, not in light, but in the thought of its countless travelers. Imagine drifting among them. You float past a rocky body, its surface dark, cratered, pitted with age. You pass another, gleaming with metal, reflecting sunlight like dull silver. Between them is nothing but quiet. Then, far off, another spins, slow and lonely, carrying its orbit like a secret. It is easy to imagine the asteroid belt as forgotten, overshadowed by the planets. Yet, without it, our story would be incomplete. It is the reminder that not all beginnings find their endings. Some remain suspended, forever in between. As we drift farther outward, we begin to feel the tug of a giant. A world so large, it shapes not only its own moons, but the fates of many others. Jupiter waits ahead, striped and stormy, the great protector and ruler of this part of the solar system. Its gravity reaches even here, sculpting the paths of asteroids, keeping them from ever becoming something more. And so, we leave behind the quiet fragments and turn toward the vastness of the largest planet. Chapter 8. Jupiter. From the silence of drifting rocks, we begin to feel the presence of something immense. It is not a small world of stone or dust. It is a giant, the largest planet in our solar system. It does not simply exist here, it dominates. This is Jupiter. Even from afar, Jupiter is breathtaking. Bands of color wrap around its surface, shades of cream, beige, orange, and brown. These stripes are vast streams of atmosphere, moving in opposite directions, circling the globe at incredible speed. Between them swirl storms larger than continents, some lasting for centuries. Among these storms is one especially famous, the Great Red Spot, a storm so immense that Earth itself could fit inside it, spinning endlessly in Jupiter's southern hemisphere. It has raged for at least 300 years, perhaps far longer. But Jupiter has no solid ground. It is a world made of gas, mostly hydrogen and helium, the same elements that fuel the Sunday. If you tried to descend, there would be no surface to stand upon, only thicker and denser clouds, crushing pressure and rising heat. Deeper still, gases turn to liquid, and far below, perhaps a core of rock and metal lies hidden. Jupiter is not a place to land, it is a place to witness. Its sheer size is almost beyond grasp. More than 11 Earths could line up across its diameter. Over 1,000 Earths could fit inside its volume. And yet, for all its enormity, it spins faster than any other planet, turning once every 10 hours. This speed stretches its shape, flattening its poles and bulging its equator, giving it a look that is not perfectly round, but slightly squashed. A giant in motion, restless even in its vastness. Jupiter's power is not just in its size, but in its gravity. It pulls with such force that it shapes the orbits of comets and asteroids, protecting the inner planets from some of their collisions. It is like a guardian at the edge of the inner solar system, drawing in wanderers or flinging them away. Without Jupiter, Earth might have faced far more impacts, its story much harsher. In a quiet way, Jupiter has been a protector of life. Encircling this planet is a kingdom of moons. At last count, more than 90 have been discovered. Some are small, no more than captured rocks, but others are worlds in their own right, each with its own landscape and mystery. The 4 largest are called the Galilean moons, named after Galileo Galilei, who first observed them in 1610. They are Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, each unique, each remarkable. Io is the most volcanic body in the solar system. Its surface is alive with eruptions, plumes of molten rock shooting kilometers high. It is a world of fire, its surface painted in yellows, reds, and blacks, shaped by constant change. Europa, by contrast, is calm on the surface, a world of ice. Its surface is smooth and bright, cracked with dark lines where the ice has split and shifted. Beneath that shell of ice lies a global ocean more water than Earth itself possesses, hidden in darkness, warmed by the pull and tug of Jupiter's gravity. Scientists wonder, could life drift in those waters, unseen, untouched, waiting? Ganymede is the largest moon in the solar system, even bigger than Mercury. It is a world with its own magnetic field, its own history of ice and rock. Its surface shows regions of bright and dark terrain, etched with grooves and ridges that tell of ancient forces. Callisto is older, quieter, heavily cratered. It is like a record of the solar system's early days, preserved without change. Where Europa whispers of possibility and Io roars with fire, Callisto rests in silence, a frozen archive. Together, these moons are like a miniature solar system, circling their giant parent, each one worthy of attention, each one with a story. Jupiter itself radiates more heat than it receives from the Sunday. It is as if it is still glowing faintly from the time of its birth, still cooling after 4.5 billion years. And far around it, faint rings of dust and particles circle too, delicate and overlooked. Not as grand as Saturn's prey, but still present a subtle crown around a vast king. To drift near Jupiter is to feel awe. Its storms, its size, its family of moons, everything about it is magnified, grander than what we know, and yet it also brings comfort. It has circled the sun for billions of years, steady and enduring, guarding the smaller worlds, shaping the space around it. As we drift away, Jupiter remains immense behind us, still glowing in its stripes, still storming in silence. Ahead, a jewel waits. Rings like lace, delicate and luminous, circle the next giant. Saturn awaits, serene and astonishing. Chapter 9. Saturn. From the vast shadow of Jupiter, we travel outward to a world both gentle and majestic. Saturn. Of all the planets, Saturn may be the most instantly recognizable. Even at a glance, its rings set it apart, circling like a crown of light. From Earth, small telescopes reveal this wonder thin bands shining in the dark. For centuries, those rings have inspired awe. Are they solid? Are they broken moons? What holds them in place? Now we know more, but the wonder remains. Saturn itself is a giant, second only to Jupiter. It too is made of hydrogen and helium, a world without a solid surface, a globe of gas and liquid wrapped in atmosphere. Its colors are pale and soft, more muted than Jupiter's, the cream and gold, gentle shades that shift in subtle bands. Storms still rage here, but more quietly, like ripples rather than scars. Occasionally, vast tempests spread across the planet, great white storms that encircle it for months before fading back into calm. And then there are the rings. They stretch far, tens of thousands of kilometers from the planet, yet remain thin in places no more than a few dozen meters thick. They are made not of solid plates, but of countless particles of ice and rock, each one circling Saturn at its own pace. From afar, they seem like smooth, unbroken bands. But up close, they are swarms of fragments, shimmering as they move. Some are as small as grains of sand, others as large as mountains. Together, they form the most delicate structure in the solar system, fragile and breathtaking. The rings are divided into sections, the A ring, the B ring, the C ring, each with gaps where Saturn's moons have carved paths. These divisions are not emptiness, but order, sculpted by gravity, by resonance, by the silent dance of particles over time. Saturn, like Jupiter, is not alone. It is surrounded by a wide family of moons, more than 80 discovered so far, and likely more waiting. Some are small, irregular shapes, captured pieces of rock and ice. Others are worlds in themselves, each unique. Titan, Saturn's largest moon, is larger than Mercury. It is shrouded in a thick orange atmosphere, with lakes and rivers not of water, but of liquid, methane, and ethane. Its surface is cold, hundreds of degrees below freezing, yet familiar in form. Rivers, seas, dunes, clouds. Titan is a world that echoes Earth in strange alien ways, a reminder that nature repeats patterns in unexpected places. Beneath its icy crust, scientists believe there may be an ocean of water, hidden and dark. Enceladus is smaller, yet extraordinary. Bright and icy, it reflects sunlight like fresh snow. Along its south pole, great plumes of water vapor erupt into space, spraying from cracks in the surface. Beneath its ice, an ocean lies, warmed by Saturn's pull. In those hidden waters, there may be the ingredients for life. Enceladus is a tiny world, but one of the most promising places to search for life beyond Earth. Other moons add their own beauty. Mimas, scarred by a giant crater that makes it resemble a single staring eye. Iapetus, half bright, half dark, as though painted with shadow. Rhea, Tethys, Dione, each carrying its own landscape of craters, cliffs, and ridges, circling their vast parent in silence. Saturn itself, despite its enormity, is less dense than water. If there were an ocean large enough, Saturn would float. It is a giant of air and gas, delicate in structure compared to its size. Its day is fast, about 10.5 hours. It's year-long, nearly 30 Earth years to circle the Sun once. To drift near Saturn is to feel calm. Jupiter is a storm, restless and roaring. Saturn is serene, graceful, adorned with rings that shine like lace. Its beauty is quiet, its power steady. It is not overwhelmed with fury, but with elegance. Imagine floating above the rings, they stretch below like a frozen rainbow, countless shards of ice glinting in the sunlight. From this vantage, you can see the planet beyond, glowing softly, and the dark of space around. The rings cast shadows on Saturn's face, bands of twilight curving across its pale surface. It is like standing in a cathedral built not by hands, but by time. And as we drift outward again, the rings grow thinner, fainter, until they vanish into distance. Saturn remains behind us, glowing faintly golden, surrounded by its family of moons. Its rings, like a whisper of music, fading into silence. Ahead, the light of the sun grows weaker. The giants that remain are colder, farther, stranger. Next is Uranus, a tilted world, pale blue, circling the sun on its side. Chapter 10. Uranus. Beyond the golden rings of Saturn, sunlight fades. The warmth of the inner worlds begins to weaken, and the planets grow stranger, colder, more remote. Here we find Uranus, a pale, turquoise world, calm and mysterious. At first glance, Uranus seems gentle. Its color is soft, a light blue-green, serene and steady. There are no bold stripes, no giant storms to catch the eye. From afar, it looks like a smooth marble, rolling silently around the Sunday. Yet beneath this calm appearance lies one of the oddest worlds in the solar system. Unlike the other planets, Uranus is tilted almost completely onto its side. Its axis leans at 98 degrees, as though the planet had once been knocked over by a great collision long ago. Because of this tilt, Uranus spins like a rolling ball, its poles where its equator should be. This means its seasons are extreme. For half of its 84-year orbit, one pole points directly at the sun, bathing in endless daylight, while the other is cast into long, unbroken night. Only after decades do they switch, the darkness lifting slowly, the light shifting across the world. The air of Uranus is made mostly of hydrogen and helium, like Jupiter and Saturn, but it carries more methane. That methane absorbs red light and scatters blue, giving Uranus its tranquil turquoise glow. Beneath the calm face, winds blow at hundreds of kilometers per hour. Though it seems placid from far away, its atmosphere is restless, swirling in hidden layers. Like the other giants, Uranus has no solid surface. Its outer clouds blend downward into deeper layers of gas, then into strange forms of icy fluids, water, ammonia, methane, compressed under immense pressure. Scientists call Uranus and Neptune the ice giants, for their compositions are different from the great gas giants before them. Deep within, they may hold rocky cores, but no one has ever seen beneath the clouds to know for certain. Uranus is surrounded by faint rings, delicate and dark. They are not bright like Saturn's, but narrow, thin bands of dust and rock. Discovered only in the late 20th century, they remind us that even quiet planets carry secrets. Circling Uranus are also more than 24 moons, each small, each unique. Many are named after characters from the plays of Shakespeare: Titania, Oberon, Ariel, Miranda. These moons are icy, cratered, some scarred by canyons and ridges. Miranda, in particular, looks fractured. Its surface, a patchwork of cliffs and valleys, as though it was broken and stitched together again. Uranus is distant, cold, its surface temperature dropping to hundreds of degrees below freezing, yet it still spins quickly, turning once every 17 hours. It circles the sun slowly, taking 84 Earth years to complete a single orbit. For some, a lifetime is only one Uranian year. From space, Uranus feels quiet. It does not announce itself with storms like Jupiter, nor with rings like Saturn. Its beauty is subtle, its strangeness hidden in its tilt, in its seasons, in its calm blue-green glow. It is a reminder that not all wonders are loud. Some sit in stillness, waiting for us to notice. Imagine drifting above it now, looking down at its pale face. There are no sharp features, only a calm sphere, rolling sideways through the dark. The sun, now far away, is no longer a blazing disk, but a bright star, smaller and weaker. Uranus orbits patiently, year after year, in its sideways dance, wrapped in quiet. As we drift away, Uranus fades, a pale jewel in the distance. Ahead lies the final of the great planets, a darker, deeper blue, restless with storms, though it sits at the far edge of the sun's reach. This is Neptune, the most distant giant, and it waits for us now. Chapter 11. Neptune. Far beyond Uranus, where sunlight is little more than a pale gleam, circles the last of the giant planets, Neptune. At this distance, the sun is no longer a dominant presence. It shines like a bright star, its warmth softened, its authority diminished. Yet Neptune holds its place firmly, completing the family of major planets with dignity. Neptune is a world of deep, striking color, a rich sapphire blue, darker than Uranus's pale turquoise. This color comes from methane in its atmosphere, absorbing red light and reflecting blue, but Neptune's blue seems deeper, richer, as though something else lends it intensity. It is a planet that looks like the ocean, but one that no ship will ever sail. Unlike Uranus, which appears calm from afar, Neptune is restless. Winds whip around the planet at incredible speeds, the fastest in the solar system. They can reach over 2,000 kilometers per hour, carrying storms across its face. One such storm, called the Great Dark Spot, was discovered in the late 20th century, a swirling system as large as Earth itself. Though it later faded, others appeared, reminding us that Neptune's atmosphere is alive, dynamic, always changing. Beneath the clouds lies the same strange mix as Uranus: hydrogen, helium, methane, and deeper still, layers of icy water, ammonia, and other compounds compressed into exotic forms. Somewhere, hidden at the center, may be a rocky core, but we cannot see it. Neptune keeps its secrets wrapped in clouds and storms, its true heart hidden from view. Despite its size, nearly 4 times Earth's diameter, Neptune remains distant and faint. It takes 165 Earth years to circle the Sun once. Since its discovery in 1846, it has completed only a single orbit. For us, a lifetime is a breath. For Neptune, it is barely a step. The discovery of Neptune itself was remarkable. It was not first seen by eye, but by mathematics. Astronomers noticed that Uranus's orbit did not behave as predicted. Something unseen was tugging at it. By calculating where that hidden planet must be, they pointed their telescopes to the sky, and there it was. Neptune, revealed not by chance, but by reason, as though the universe allowed us to imagine it before it was seen. Like Saturn and Uranus, Neptune has rings, though faint and dark, barely visible against space. They are thin, irregular, decorated with clumps called ring arcs, concentrations of dust and ice that defy spreading evenly. Around it circle at least 14 moons, the largest and most intriguing being Triton. Triton is unusual, orbiting Neptune backward, opposite the planet's rotation. This suggests it was once a wandering object, perhaps a captured dwarf planet from the Kuiper Belt, taken by Neptune's gravity. Its surface is icy, bright, scarred by ridges and plains. Triton is alive in a quiet way. Geysers of nitrogen erupt from beneath its crust, spraying plumes into the thin atmosphere. It is one of the coldest places in the solar system, yet it shows movement, activity, change. In its silence, it breathes. Neptune is the farthest giant, the edge of the family of great planets. Beyond it lie only smaller worlds, frozen and faint. To drift near Neptune is to feel the distance, to realize how far we have traveled from the sun's warmth. Here, the solar system begins to blur into the outer dark. And yet, Neptune endures. It shines with a calm blue light, its storms swirling, its winds roaring. Even in this lonely place, it is a reminder that even at the edge, motion continues, energy persists, beauty remains. As we drift onward, Neptune recedes, glowing faintly against the black. Beyond it, the planets give way to smaller, colder bodies, Pluto, and countless others in the Kuiper Belt. The sun is now a star behind us, and we are approaching the outer reaches, where silence grows deeper still. Chapter 12: Pluto and Beyond. Past Neptune, the solar system changes character. The giants are behind us, their gravity still felt, but their presence fading. Ahead lies a vast region of smaller bodies, frozen and faint, circling the sun in slow silence. Here, among them, we find Pluto. For much of the 20th century, Pluto was known as the ninth planet, the farthest in the family. But discoveries in recent decades have shown it is only one of many similar worlds. A member of the Kuiper Belt, a wide, icy ring beyond Neptune, filled with thousands of small objects. Pluto is no less beautiful for this change. In fact, it has become more interesting. Not the last planet, but the first ambassador to a whole new realm. Pluto is small, smaller than our moon, yet it is complex. Its surface shows plains of frozen nitrogen, mountains of water ice, and patches that shift and change. A great heart-shaped region called Tomball Regio stretches across its face, bright and welcoming. Within that heart lies Sputnik Planitia, a plain of nitrogen ice that flows slowly, like a glacier, reshaping the land over time. Pluto, though small, is alive with movement. Its atmosphere is thin and delicate, made of nitrogen and methane, forming a hazy blue glow when lit by the sunday. As Pluto moves closer to the sun in its orbit, the atmosphere thickens, lifted into the sky. As it moves farther away, the gases freeze and fall back to the ground. It breathes in and out with its long seasons, a cycle that lasts centuries. Pluto is not alone. It has 5 known moons, the largest of which is Charon. Charon is so big compared to Pluto that the two are sometimes called a double system, orbiting a common center in space between them. Charon's surface is dark and rugged, scarred with canyons and plains. Together, Pluto and Charon turn, locked in each other's gaze, a pair forever, circling in quiet companionship. Beyond Pluto, the Kuiper Belt stretches wide. Here are other dwarf planets: Eris, Haumea, Makemake, each distant, each unique. Haumea spins so fast it is shaped like an elongated egg. Eris is nearly Pluto's twin in size, farther still, cold and dim. These worlds are reminders that the solar system does not end suddenly, but softens into distance, filled with small icy wanderers. Farther still, beyond the Kuiper Belt, lies the imagined Oort cloud, a vast sphere of comets surrounding the solar system, distant beyond comprehension. If it exists, as we believe, it is home to trillions of icy bodies, extending halfway to the nearest stars. Most will never return, but some are nudged inward, falling toward the sun as long-tailed comets, glowing briefly before retreating again into the dark. At this edge, The sun is only another star among many. Its warmth is faint, its pull weaker. Here begins the interstellar space that stretches to the next suns, the next systems, the unknown. And yet, even here, the sun's influence lingers. Its light, though dim, still reaches. Its gravity still holds. The solar system does not end. It only fades, blending into the greater sea of stars. Imagine floating here. At the edge, behind you, every planet circles, every moon drifts, every story we have told still unfolding in silence. Ahead, countless stars shine, each one a sun with its own family of worlds. Our solar system is one among billions, a single island in an infinite ocean. And yet, it is ours, the place where Earth orbits, where life stirs, where minds wonder, where voices speak. Let us take one last, slow look back. The sun is a bright point in the distance, its planets invisible at this range. But we know they are there. Mercury racing close, Venus wrapped in cloud, Earth with its seas and forests, the moon circling beside it, Mars with its deserts, the asteroid belt with its fragments, Jupiter with its storms and moons, Saturn with its rings, Uranus rolling sideways, Neptune restless and blue, and Pluto at the edge, carrying its heart of ice. All of them circle still, steady and patient, as they have for billions of years, as they will for billions more. We have drifted through them slowly, gently, listening to their stories. Now we rest at the boundary, where the solar system whispers into silence. Here, the journey ends. Not with a stop, but with a pause. Not with a wall, but with a horizon. Beyond it lies more than we can know. But within it, we have found enough to wonder, enough to dream, enough to sleep in peace.